listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast, coming to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Your source for UFC news, previews, and post-fight coverage. Hosted by your favorite duo, Daryl and Asher. Let's get it started.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the MMA Brothers Podcast. This is Daryl.
My name's Asher.
And we're talking UFC Fight Night, Cory Sandhagen versus Marlon Moraes. So, Asher, can you take us out?
Yeah, of course. So we're going to just do a post-fight for the event that just happened yesterday. What a main event that was. I was really, really surprised by Cory Sandhagen's performance. But as usual, we're going to start at the bottom of the card, then make our way up to the main event of the evening. So the first fight on the main card was, as this loads, I think it was Zalal versus
it was a sleeper.
Yeah. I'll let you explain this one. You can go for it.
So Yusuf Zalal versus Ilia Topuria. You know what, guys? I started watching from the early prelims until the main card. I'm telling you, the prelims were just bananas. Anyways, so that's why this fight looked way worse than it actually was, because the prelims did such a good job. So Yusuf was getting cracked a lot by Ilia. It was just Ilia moving forward majority of the time, peppering him with shots, taking him down. It was a unanimous decision win, I'm pretty sure, for Ilia, if I'm not mistaken. Not one of the fights that I would recommend going back and watching. It wasn't really a technical display by either guy. It's just that Yusuf, you might have outlanded Ilia, but Ilia controlled majority of the fight in octagon control. He landed the heavier shots. He took him down, held him there for majority of a round. You know, you could have even, he got 5 out of 9 takedowns. It was a beatdown by Ilia, and good for him. What do you think, Asha?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't one of the best fights of the night. There were a lot of submission escapes, and the third round was more of the same. And I forget which fighter of the two had never been to a third round. I think it was Ilia had never been to a third round before in his career. But yeah, whatever. I guess the numbers look closer on paper, but those five takedowns obviously made a huge difference. But yeah, that's pretty much that for that fight. We're going to move on to the next one. The next one we have Tom Aspinall versus Alan Baudot. Baudot?
Baudot.
Yeah, Baudot. So the Black Samurai, oh my God. They were really saying in the commentary that like he just loves spinning attacks and all these different things. There are fast heavyweights, but I guess the Black Samurai needs to work on his wrestling because he got taken down. He tried to do some flashy stuff by the side of the cage. And speaking of the prelims, I think it was in the prelims, there was one fight where or maybe it was Perez. No, it was the next fight where there was another spinning attack mistake. But anyways, Alan tried to throw some spinning stuff by the fence, and then that was taken an advantage of by Tom, because then he got a takedown, and then from there he went to mount and then got upon him so fast. I was just like, dude, you need to work on your jiu-jitsu, because nobody should take mount that quickly. You know what I mean? Like literally within like 30 seconds of him being the ground.
No, but this is what happened. Because he double-legged him, right? So on the drop, he advanced position. So it's not like Alan was able to stop the advance of transition. It's like he picked him up, and then as he's dropping him, he slid up. You watch it again and see what I'm talking about. It's like as he dropped him, he already advances to full mount, and then it was curtains. It was a very good technical display by Tom Aspinall. He's one of the biggest heavyweights in terms of hype coming through. His boxing is ridiculous. His kicking is really nice. Like his oblique kick to the back leg is something I'd never really seen in the UFC. Do you remember that kick that I'm referring to?
Yeah.
And backed up Alan, and then Alan, it looked like that leg was dead for like 5-6 seconds because he was just like not putting any weight on it. He's just swinging, spinning back fist, misses, and then he gets clipped, and then he gets clipped again. Then he gets picked up, and then slammed with a double leg, and then it was curtained. So the future is extremely bright for Tom Aspinall. And I can't wait to see him move up the rankings, heavyweight division, Liverpool lad. And he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. His boxing is ridiculous. He's shown that his ground game is pretty good in terms of top control and ground and pound. Because, dude, Alan felt one shot and he just turtled. He's like, nah, not about it, dude.
Yeah.
So that was also my thing.
It's definitely we need more hype in the heavyweight division, because there's not the heavyweight division is like the oldest division, right? Like literally the guys that have been fighting for 10 years are still like solid names in the division. There's very rare people. I guess maybe Curtis Blades is the only person that comes to mind, or like new talent that's up and coming. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next fight, which was Marcus Perez versus Dirkus Duplessis, which is Dirkus, whatever. Duplessis,
Drickus.
Drickus Duplessis, right? So Duplessis, he's got some hype with him, and I think apparently he was a champion. At least I think he was a two-weight champion in his previous promotion where he fought, and he had a lot of hype coming into this fight. Marcus Perez actually started off this fight very, very well. The strikes,
I
even though
thought
they
I
look,
thought he was gonna KO Duplessis. I was like,
yeah, same.
whoa.
And I'm just like, oh, like I didn't think that, Duplessis was that good because of Marcus Perez just tagging him, right? I remember one body strike he landed, Duplessis even like stopped for a second. You could tell like it hurt, that body strike hurt him. Even in the post-fight interview, Duplessis was like, yeah, like he has some really good kicks. And Marcus Perez was doing well. He's doing well until he decided to throw a spinning attack again. And it's unfortunate because like there's two fighters that tried to throw a spinning technique and then they both took L's. And there's another two fighters that threw spinning techniques and then they took dubs. So it's kind of like it's weird how this
It's a high risk, high reward. High
exactly.
risk, high reward.
Yeah, you put yourself in compromising positions. You can get knocked out or you can get the knockout. So Marcus Perez tried to do that spinning back elbow, the Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie, the one that landed, and then Duplessis is like, okay, boom, just landed a left hook on his ear, dropped Perez, and then 1-2, and Perez was pretty much out, and Duplessis got the dub. But yeah, he was saying that he wants some top 10 opponents next, and he's saying that he's going to be champ. And I'm like, Duplessis, calm down, brother.
What division is this again?
Um, I think this is. I feel like I want to say middleweight. It's at least. I'll double check, but go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. I was literally just wondering. You gave a perfect rundown of the fight. Like, there's nothing much more I can add. Marcus came out the gates hot. He was throwing a lot of Muay Thai kicks, switch kicks to the body. He was throwing jumping side kicks. Like he was very kick heavy in his approach. But then, as you said, makes one small mistake in the spinning technique, does not land, and pays a heavy price for it. And then I think what really knocked Marcus off is he hit him behind the ear. It was a legal strike, but where the punch landed knocked out his equilibrium because the way he fell, he just fell like head first to the ground.
Yeah.
And didn't really look like he had his wits about him. And he ate like two more strikes, and the referee stopped the fight. So I was very impressed with Drickus because he got cracked with a few good strikes and he's able to withstand it. It was early in the fight, but he weathered the early storm, even though the fight was only 3 minutes. Weathered the early storm and then started picking him apart with shots from the outside, kicks, backed him up against the cage, got that pressure, and then was able to get the dub. So, good for Drickus. Did you find out what weight class they're fighting?
Yeah, it's at 185. So, and yeah, the one thing I liked about Duplessis is he's talking about he's repping South Africa and he wants to be the first African-born African champion. And for people out there that don't know, there are a lot of white Africans in South Africa. So he wants to rep Africa and then be the first champ. So I rate that. That's cool. But in terms of his skill set, like I didn't see too much that impressed me. But hey, he was a 2-division champion in his previous promotion, and he's got some skills. So I guess I'll pay attention. I won't forget the name.
Do we think he's ready for Izzy?
No,
nah,
no, he's not. He's not on that level.
Is he ready for Chris No Chin Weidman? Yeah,
yeah, that's his next opponent.
yeah, I'd give him Uncle Chris Weidman.
So next we have Ben Rothwell versus Marcin Tybura. Ben Rothwell, I don't know if he had like an appointment after the fight or like something that he had to do after, because this guy came throwing like in the first round, like he had to leave 5 minutes later. I'm like, hey brother, what are you doing?
Yeah, bro. Marcin was just eating shots in the first round. I think of Ben's 287 strikes. He threw 130 or 140 in the first round. Like no cap. Like this guy came out and he was just throwing. I was like, whoa. And then because Marcin was just covering up, I said, well, like there's only so much your arms can eat before you start dropping your guard, leaving you susceptible to getting KO'd. But these are the big boys. They can take a lot and they can give a lot. So I was extremely impressed with Ben's first round and the first half of the second, and the gas tank went on empty.
Yeah, you can only throw so many strikes, especially at the heavyweight division. And
He's not Kobe Covington.
Harry Ben Rothwell just, he gave it the plan. Like Mike Tyson said, it's either you plan to, I forget how the quote goes, but you know what I'm talking about, right? If you plan to get a knockout, then you're not going to win a decision. That's the saying, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you go for the knockout, you're not going to win a decision. If you go in for the decision, you could get a knockout, but you'll win a decision.
I don't know about the second part of that quote. I don't know if he went that deep. He just said, if you're going for a knockout, you're not going to win a decision. He wasn't like, if you're going for a decision, maybe you can get a knockout and maybe you can get a submission.
You might knock him out, might get a submission, might get a TKO.
You might win by DQ. Okay.
You might take him down.
No. So, anyways, Ben Rothwell, yeah, that was a tough L. Like, even though it was a decision, like the referee could have stopped it actually at some point.
Oh no, he was fucked up. Like he couldn't even stand up at the end of the fight. Like he got fucked up.
Yeah, even though the ground and pound, I've seen nastier ground and pound from the likes of Khabib, John Jones, and whoever, Black Beast. Tybura just, peppered his face up, and, obviously Ben Rothwell wore it by the end of the fight, and good win by Marcin. I guess Ben Rothwell just couldn't hit him clean enough in the first 2 rounds to get that win, but the strikes were clearly in Marcin's favor, and he went for a takedown, which is the commentators were saying, like, Ben Rothwell does have a lot of submission victories, so it was a little bit risky for him to do that, but clearly his ground and pound.
Ben was fucking gassed, bro. He's not throwing up a triangle or anything. He was gassed.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was Big Ben. So we're gonna move on to the co-main event of the evening: Edson Barboza Jr. versus Makwan Amirkhani. The hard names I can say, no problem. I don't know why I struggle with the easier names, but anyways, Makwan Amirkhani, he came with a lot of hype in the featherweight division. He's Mr. Finland fighting Barboza, who has highlight KOs at 155. Like the commentators were saying, like how Barboza makes 145, we don't know because he was ripped at 155. I guess he was able to find another 10 pounds to lose, kind of like Jose Aldo. I don't know where they're finding that weight, just water weight, I guess. But anyways, Barboza, he has, I don't know, his hands are like lightning, because like in the second round, when he's just throwing them like off of his hip and just finding Amirkhani's chin, I'm like, bro, like this is crazy. Like he's just throwing them, just like bang, throwing them bang. And I'm like, bro,
he steps in with his jab, and it's just like he covers a short amount of a big amount of distance quickly, and he's throwing. So Markwan is like, yeah, it's on the outside. Then he lunges in with a stiff jab. Boom, drops Markwan. I'm like, whoa. It just literally takes one strike from Edson.
Yeah, but Markwan didn't give up. I mean, there was a couple times where I was just like, yo, like I feel like, this fight's going to be ending soon. But he kept on going for a leg. He hung in there. And then at the end of the fight, he showed respect. So even though Makwan had a few takedowns, it didn't really do anything with them. Barboza, he is susceptible to getting taken down. So an excellent striker, and a lot of people are able to win by, his lack of takedown defense, even though it's not too bad. But yeah, finally, I think Barboza was in a, quite a losing streak until this fight. If I'm not mistaken, maybe he got a win in between somewhere. But the reason why he came down to featherweight was because he couldn't get a win. So he's finally got a win under his belt.
The New Zealand guy, Dan Uka.
Oh, Hooker. Yeah, that was his last win at 155.
He had 5 L's out of his last 6 fights. His only win was against Dan Hooker.
I know. Who's like one of the best ones in the division. But anyways, so Amirkhani, better luck next time. Barboza called out for like a top 6, top 7 opponent. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get that, but he is such a solid name in the UFC that I'm sure if the top 6, the top 7 don't have the fight booked, they would fight Barboza because they know he's a solid name.
Yeah. I mean, I was extremely impressed with Edson as well. His striking was ridiculous. He had a really good gas tank. And once again, he was lethal with those kicks, man. I was like, every time he landed a kick, I'm like, God damn. Edson's kicks are ridiculous. And I think mixing in the kicks made the jab open because I think he was focusing on trying to check kicks or spinning with the kick once it lands, to reduce the damage. And he dropped his guard just a little bit. Because also Edson was also throwing some kicks to the body and one to the dome, and he did a spinning heel kick, his classic. You know what I mean? It's towards the end of the fight, but Edson kept it at his range, peppered him from the outside, outstruck him. There's levels in this striking game. If Makwan was able to close the gap and just take him down every single round and hold him there, that would have been his route to success because Edson's stand-up is ridiculous.
100%. So yeah, looking forward to both of their next fights. So main event of the evening, Magic Marlon Moraes, Mr. Clean, versus Cory Sandhagen. I think
Sandman put the beating on Marlon.
I picked Marlon. I think I picked Marlon to win this one. I am very sorry,
I picked
guys.
Cory.
Yeah. Go ahead. You were saying?
I picked Cory. Yeah, I picked Cory. I'm pretty sure I picked Amir Khani for some reason, and then I also picked Ben. So I think I took the L there, and then I think I picked Duplessis. But Cory put on a clinic, man. There's Marlon. I think excels when you're around his size and his frame. The moment he fought a long-rangey fighter, he couldn't land anything. He threw 50 strikes, landed 14. It was just he didn't know what to do in there because Cory was fighting him, jabbing him from the outside, kicking him, body kick, head kick, kicking him, jabbing him, and then he landed. It wasn't a spin. I think it was a spinning heel kick. Yeah, right. But it wasn't. It didn't. His heel didn't land. It was like his Achilles part of his foot, part of his leg that landed. Dropped Marlon, hit him behind the ear again, and it knocked off his equilibrium. He did like a backflip. He like rolled on his back onto his head and then onto his knees, and then he just got finished from there, man. Cory's proving that Aljo just caught him cold. I think if that fight goes the distance, like if Aljo doesn't get him out of there quickly, I think Cory beats Aljo in the decision. His wrestling might come into effect because I haven't seen Cory's takedown defense be that great because Marlon took him down, which it's Marlon, but I don't know. I was really impressed with Cory, and I was extremely disappointed with Marlon. He just can't make adjustments. I don't know what it is. Marlon is one of the best bantamweights. He just can't make adjustments. I'm just like, dude, the reason Henry beat you is because you can't make adjustments. The reason Cory beat you is because you can't. You can only fight a certain way. He's like Paulo Costa. He's really good at that way, but he has no plan B. Yeah, he can submit you on the ground if he gets top position. But other than that, no. Like if you just keep him at distance, he's, very, very predictable. So I was very disappointed in Marlon.
It's funny. I was really thinking of putting money down on Marlon. I'm like, he was the underdog, and I'm like, yo, people are sleeping on Marlon. Maybe let me throw like a $50 on him, and then like I kind of forgot, and then I was like, oh, thank God I didn't do that because the Cory just beat the brakes off of him. But anyways, yeah, Cory Sandhagen clearly now he's knocking on the door for a title shot because Marlon Moraes was ranked number 1. And Marlon Moraes technically won against Aldo, even though a lot of people thought he lost that fight against Aldo, and now he's lost to Cory Sandhagen.
Everyone knows he lost against Aldo.
Yeah.
Those judges were on crack. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were smoking. He lost to Jose Aldo.
The way I saw Cory Sandhagen fight today, I could actually see him winning against Peter Yan. I know that's a big, big thing to say, but because of his length and like his striking ability, I was just like, yo, this he's improving. He's really, really good. So obviously he's gonna have to wait for the winner. Actually, Dana White hasn't even confirmed that fight because Dana's can be shaky sometimes. But anyways, I'm assuming that the winner of Cory Sandhagen will be facing the winner of Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. We'll see if that happens. If it doesn't happen, then I don't know. I guess Cory Sandhagen's next in line to fight Peter Yan. But yeah, we'll see what Dana White's gonna have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with you more. The only thing I'm seeing is Peter's that guy, man. Like he'll figure out a way to get inside Cory and pepper him with shots. And I don't know. Peter Yan is like the improved, better version of Marlon Moraes that can make adjustments. I think Marlon is a stiff action figure that can't move the way you want him to move. And then Peter Yan's that flexible action figure that, he'll figure it out. Like, oh, you want me to go this way? Okay, yeah, this way, and then raise my knee. But, he can make adjustments in the fight. And I just think that that's Marlon's kryptonite. I don't know if he's got to switch gyms. ATT is a great gym. Maybe his coaches he needs to go see a sports psychologist or something. Because, like, dude, you got to make adjustments. As a fighter, you have to be able to make adjustments. Cory makes adjustments. Aljo makes adjustments. Every other top-level fighter makes adjustments, but Marlon's that one where it's like if he's only got one way to win. He's like, I'm going to be pressure-heavy, and I'm going to knock you out, or 100%. I'm going to submit you. So I think he's got to work on that. You got to have more ways to win than one.
Exactly. So next week, the events keep rolling. Next week, we got the Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega. It's Brian Ortega's first fight, feels like in like 2 years. I don't know the last time he fought Max Holloway, but it was a long time ago. Max has put in like 3-4 fights since then. But anyways,
all against Volkanovski.
2 against Volkanovski. I think 1 against Frankie Edgar. So I think he's put in 3 since that fight. But anyways, we're gonna hit you with the preview soon for that fight. That's happening this Saturday, and then 2 weeks from then we're having Khabib versus Justin Gaethje. So that's crazy that's less than 2 weeks away. So I'm looking forward to that. And as always, guys, don't forget to hit us on Instagram at MMA Brothers Pod. We are getting more likes, more comments, more followers, more engagement. So it's nice to see those numbers continue to increase, and we're engaging with everybody. So thank you very much for listening. Any last words, Daryl?
No, thank you guys once again for coming, listening, and growing with us. We appreciate you guys. Dylan, we got to get you on the podcast because Dylan always listens to our stuff. He's always saying he wants to come on. We'll get you on soon, buddy. And thank you guys as always, and we out.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a follow on our socials. You can check out a description of this episode for more, but don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at MMA Brothers Pod. We'll see you on the next episode.